Hi, my name is Peter Looney. I'm the chairman of Charlestown Against Drugs. Let me give you a little history about our organization. It's been in existence since the early 80s, and our mission statement is to educate and to make aware to the whole Charlestown community, young and old, the dangers and pitfalls of substance abuse, and to educate our children to stay away from it. We run many different programs throughout the town. We're made up of all volunteers. There's no paid staff on our organization. On this part of it, we meet once a month to plan things. Last night we had a vigil for overdoses that led to fatalities in the past 5 or 6, 7 years. The tennis program, the way it started, I met Tom Desmond probably about 1988. I was running for the neighborhood council, and Tom Desmond was. I didn't know him, but a name like Desmond in Charlestown is very familiar. So I'm trying to pump him to find out if he's a Desmond from Bunker Hill Street, or did he have family down in Beachmont? And I found out he was from actually Long Island, New York. Well, Tom and I got talking, and I don't know if it was 6 months, a year later, he came to the Charlestown Against Drugs with a proposal to introduce tennis to the young people in Charlestown. Now, tennis wasn't a sport that was normally seen over in this area, but our attitude was if somebody was committed to do something, we'd give them finances and also support and the volunteers if he needed. So we agreed with it, and I can remember the first time, very first time Tom had an introduction for the children. It was down at the community center, down on Medford Street. Tom had brought a tennis machine that shot the tennis balls out, and he worked with the kids, instructing them, and myself and a couple of volunteers. Our job was to retrieve the tennis balls and reload the machine, and we did that for once a week for, I don't know, maybe a month or two, and then Tom got the opportunity to bring him over to North Station, where there was a tennis bubble on the top of a parking garage, which is long gone now, and he worked on the kids there. Rounding up the tennis balls for me, what made me feel good is I was not part of the action. I was just like the retriever. But as I watched the young kids, how excited they got when they were up there and Tom was teaching them how to use the tennis racket, and they'd take a swing at it, and that was the enjoyment that I got. I love seeing young people happy and smiling. You know, if I had my way, there'd be a perfect world. There'd be no drugs around. But that's not a reality. So you got to fight. You got to fight as hard as you can to save your young people. Tom's very committed, number one, to the youth of Charlestown. For somebody that didn't live here or grown up here, his commitment to Charlestown youth is outstanding. And his program started to catch on, and he started to get some young men that were very, very good, and young women who were very good in tennis. And he took them and worked with them. I know some he had helped get into college. He took them out of the Bunker Hill projects, and he took them out of Mishawam, took them out of the places where kids kind of start getting, I don't know how to put it, the best way is, they start going in the wrong direction, probably the best way to say it. And because of just the small purpose of bringing tennis here, it kept growing and growing and growing. And what you have today is outstanding. You know, I think that if I was investing in this, I would tell you that you're investing in the youth of our community, which means that it'll also help the city of Boston and it'll help the state. These young men and women will travel all over the country, but they'll have that road straight because they got away from maybe substance abuse because they get into a program that they loved, and they get into it because of a gentleman named Tom Desmond. And I don't know what else I can say about it, is that we'll continue on as an anti-drug organization. We're into theater, all kinds of sports available, anything to give an alternative to substance abuse. And again, like I say, that the tennis program from probably the late 80s, probably the late 80s that Tom really got involved in it and grew up. He's the type of guy that not many people know in the community. He'd be down the district court in Charlestown trying to help some young kid get out of trouble and get him going straight. He did a lot of behind the scenes things for people in Charlestown. So again, your investment is the youth of tomorrow. When we first started, it was not accepted. Denial was a big issue in this town. People didn't want to hear about that there was drugs here. If we went to an event and set up a table, people would walk around it. They felt that if they reached for a brochure on our table, that meant that somebody in their family had either an alcohol or drug problem. And people just would not come near us. And we've got threats at the beginning. We had many major issues of trying to get this off the ground. Now, today, denial is not here. There was an event last night that we ran. There was a tribute that I mentioned earlier. And there was over 100 people. We had them come up, some of them, if they'd like, to mention their loved ones. The purpose of the event was to remember the loved ones who had lost their fight to addiction, and also to give hope to the people that are out there right now that still have the addiction, and most of all, to give to our children and our grandchildren to make sure they never have the pain and suffering that we've gone through in the past 30 years. I'll tell you, if you were there at the beginning and saw how these young boys and girls just got attracted to tennis and how proud they feel. I mean, once in a while I go down to see Tom with this program, and he introduces me to these outstanding young boys and girls, and they are so proud. You know what they have? They have so much self-esteem, and that's the trick. If you feel real good about yourself, you're not going to get into the junk. You're going to stay away from drugs because you know that you feel good, you've got a future, and if it's not tennis, it's the things you take away from a tennis program that you use later in life. So, again, I say thank you to Tom for his commitment to Charlestown.
Good afternoon. My name's Tom Desmond. I'm the managing partner of New England Consulting Partners, LLC. We're a turnaround management firm headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. We also have offices in Detroit, Rochester, and soon to be San Francisco. We're here today at Veterans Park in South Boston to introduce one of the programs that we support as a nonprofit organization. We believe firmly in helping out in the respective communities where we do business. We've had considerable success, and we just want to show our appreciation back into the communities where we've enjoyed that success. And we're beginning our program here in Boston, which is our headquartered city, and but soon we'll be doing other like programs across the country where we do business. Today we're at Veterans Park in South Boston, supporting the South Boston Tennis Club, which is a roundtable program started by George Bennett here in South Boston. It does a great deal of outreach to the local youngsters, the children and teenagers in the city. And our firm supports tennis. We're introducing tennis to the young people here and elsewhere in the city. We have currently 4 programs going. We expect to support at least another 4 by the end of the year. And we're putting some seed money into the effort. We're establishing the Boston Tennis Foundation to support these youngsters, and Mr. Benner in his endeavor to do outreach and help the children of South Boston and other parts of the city.